from Follett. Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Wade.
Good morning.
Good
morning, Lagos. Good morning, Afolabi. Hi, how are you?
I'm great, and you?
We're doing great, yeah.
Good to have you in the studio with us. Okay, this is interesting. We're taking from the photography aspects this morning. So tell us about yourself, Afolabi. What were you doing before photography started?
Before photography started, I was a university student. I studied business administration, and I started photography in 2014. And I am self-trained actually. So between 2014 till now, it's been a cross section of self-learning, working, gaining experiences, and all of that. So yeah, I was a student before photography.
Doesn't it seem ironic that you read business and today you're into photography? So what's
Well, I find it more interesting because since I was young, I've always had a knack for what's it called visual creation. But then you know how your parents would not want you to follow that thing you have in mind. So I had to do business administration.
Okay, so parents have a way of just forcing us in their own direction, and after a while, that's okay. We've done yours. Want to come and do ours. So what was it? What has it been like being a photographer?
It's been all shades of everything. Interesting days of sadness, extreme hard work on some days, constant learning. It's been all shades of everything, but above all, it has been interesting and profitable.
Now, when you look at the fact that photography is most times is a hobby, how did you start it as a business, and how has the business side come to be?
Okay, so how did I think of it as a business? The moment I started realizing, okay, this is an opportunity for me to make, and not just money, a lot of money, is when I realized how much a lot of clients, how much a lot of brands, how much a lot of individuals need um, content, visual content for commercial purposes, individual purposes. And I'm like, okay, I think I have the skills and they need me to help them create. So why not just make this official and say, okay, I am for last tag, food and portrait photographer. What would you like me to create for you? How would you like me to create it for you? And then in that moment, I said, okay, let's make it work.
Okay, so you've spoken about how you got into the business part of it.
Okay.
And so when you look at it, how did you put together the monies that you used to start this business, and how has that been?
Okay, so how did I get the money? I barely got support from anyone, so let me try to take that off. I barely got financial support from anyone. So how did I get the money? Now thinking of it, it feels like I can't even pick up one way. But yeah, I started selling my ideas to people, to brands, and sometimes I'm lucky enough for some of them to buy it. Sometimes I am not. Sometimes I'm unlucky for some of them to pretend not to buy it and they go ahead to use it. And on the long run, I've been able to work with a lot of brands, and that way I'm able to get income for myself. And gradually, I started putting together all of that, days of 20K, days of 10K, days of 5K, and luckily I've been able to grow that way.
Okay, so it's been bit by bit, step by step.
Yeah, anyway. Step by step actually.
So how old is fast photography?
How old? 7 years. I started officially in 2014.
Oh, yes, 7 years. 7 years.
Yes.
So in all of 7 years, what has that journey been like from the start? Were there points of frustration, Could you just?
There's been a lot of that. In fact, there was a time I left photography for almost 2 years because how would I put this? It felt like I was doing something wrong. It felt like I was looking at other photographers and it felt like they were doing some sort of magic to it. And I was losing my mind. How are you guys doing it? How are you guys doing it? Put me through. So yeah, it's been frustrating sometimes because you find yourself doing so much and getting so little in return, while some people do so little and then they get so much compensations and you're like, come on. So yeah, sometimes it's quite frustrating. Very, very in fact.
Those 2 years you left, what were you doing? You know, what hit you? Was it like, no customers coming at all? Am I in the right profession? So you left. What did you go to do and what brought you back?
Uh I left. Okay, let me not say left totally. I was still in it, but I wasn't. I felt like I wasn't using my full capacity. It felt like something was missing. It felt like in that period I needed to find my niche. I needed to find something more interesting in photography because okay, it feels like every other person starts out with nature photography, then you go into portrait photography, then you start trying your hands on new things, and it felt like whatever I tried my hands on, yeah, I'm good at it, but it wasn't profitable for me. So I had to, should I call it, lay back and start thinking and reading to myself, okay, what do I really want to do with photography? What can I do that is exceptional? What will differentiate me from every other person?
Okay.
So in that moment, I was just, yeah, what's it called? Should I say self-realization?
Introspection.
Okay. So was that why you discovered food photography?
Well, crawling out of that was when I found food photography.
Okay.
Crawling out of that because I realized, okay, I actually love food and I love photography. So why not combine both and make something of it?
So when you look at your aspect of photography, and today I see a lot of people go to a restaurant or even cook at home and take pictures and put it on social media.
Mhm.
What exactly is the aspect of photography about food, and how does that resonate with someone like me?
Mm. How would you catch his attention with food photography? What,
Yeah.
you know?
So what will inspire me to want to look at the food and even want to go where that food was made?
What are those intricacies? Hello? Oh, you can't hear.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so let me rephrase. Going into food photography, how does it entice Bukola or my go to that restaurant and say, oh, this food in the image, I should actually try it?
Yes. Okay, so that's actually a very, very interesting question because it feels like I should go over it from the bottom, or should I say from the top, whichever. Because you could walk by a billboard and look at the food on it and go, sheesh, what brand is that? I want something from that. And it feels like it's not just about the picture, it's about the process of creating it. Because first of all, you have to understand food in different languages. You have to understand that, okay, this food, once I put it on the table, is going to start melting, or once I put it up on the table, it's going to start looking dry. So you have to be able to understand the language of food. And I think that is what makes me exceptional. The fact that I make some of this food myself. I make it from the scratch. So I understand that, okay, if I add too much oil, it's going to look oily. So luckily for me, working with brands, working with chefs, working with some kitchens, I understand what they want to create. I understand their vision. Once they share their brief with me, I understand that, okay, they want to use it for a billboard or they want to use it for their social media. So I understand that the way I'll shoot it for social media is also different from the way I'll shoot it for billboards. So I think those processes are what makes it interesting. or make it enticing. Let me use that word.
So it's you understanding the food and understanding what you want to give to whoever is viewing the photos so that you can
Yes.
have some sort of attraction to
Yes.
come.
Yes.
I want to go grab this particular bag.
Yes.
So how long did it take you to learn photography? Though I'm backtracking here. Because
Right now, in fact, I'm still learning. But I've been doing it for 7 years. So in the space of that 7 years, tryouts, errors, this and that. Like I said earlier, I had to find my niche by trying out different things. At some point, it felt like I did have a direction, but then because I knew I wasn't satisfied with myself. So even till now, I'm still learning. On some days, I just go on YouTube and look for photographers and what they are doing exceptionally. I look at other photographers' works. So why did this guy light this like this? Why did this guy do this like this? So I'm still learning.
So are you strictly food photography, or there other things you go out of?
I shoot portraits, food, and products. Although I shoot events too, but that's not my core. I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoy shooting food, as much as I enjoy shooting products, as much as I enjoy shooting portraits.
All right. Wade?
Okay, so now, because you have to work with chefs, food brands, and a number of other people, how do you place your idea in their labs, especially when you realize that different people have different ideas and how they want to go about something? So how do you make sure that not only does it suit the brand, but it meets your own standard?
Okay. I'm thankful for the fact that I've gotten to the point where I can dictate to some of my clients. So one of the ways I go about it is, let's say I'm trying to get in touch with, I don't know. Let me just say I'm trying to get in touch with one food brand. So what do? I first go online, read about the brand, understand their colors, understand their mode of work, so to say. And then I say, okay, I'm going to create this to make it look like it is for the brand. So if it's for like a seasoning brand, I'll go ahead and shoot something in their line and throw it out there. And luckily for me, social media has been working for me a lot. So once I throw it out there and tag them, some of them see it and come back. And in the process of them checking online, I'm also writing to them at the back. I'm sending proposals to them. I've gone on LinkedIn, look for their managing, whatever, send them my proposal. Oh, this is what I have in mind. And the moment they go online, they see my name, they see what I've shot, and then they go back to their offices and then see my proposal. And then it feels like it's connecting. So that way they're able to say, okay, this is the guy that did so. Why not bring him on board? And then that way I'm able to tell them, okay, so this is what I had in mind initially, and I would like us to work together, blah, 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 blah. And I think that works for me a lot.
So competition, how have you actually dealt with competition there?
So one of the things I say to myself unconsciously is I am my only competition, because I've realized that my process is way different than every other person's process. I've been through too many stages for me to start looking at somebody else and start getting scared. But yeah, there are competitions out there. I just keep moving and try not to get distracted, because I realized the period I left photography, one of the things that made me depressed or that made me feel down during that period was comparing myself too much with other people and saying, oh, how did this guy do this? How did that guy do this? How did this guy do this? And it was creating tension inside of me. So I had to, yeah.
So you had to manage it and tell yourself that in spite of the fact that there's competition.
Exactly. I have to keep moving.
And you are your own competition. It's just to be the best.
Yes, exactly.
That's a way of managing it, though, because if you focus too much on that, it could lead you down the drain. But it's a good way to have that mindset.
Yes. You've been talking about processes, processing. Could you just give us an idea of what it takes to shoot one of those enticing pictures I saw on your page?
Well,
Camera and just check them.
no, it's not, it doesn't work like that. Too. It doesn't work like that. Like I said earlier, first you have to understand the language of food. You have to understand the language of food. You have to understand that if I put this ice cream on the table in the next 3 minutes, it's gone. You have to understand that if I put this spaghetti on the table, it's going to start looking dry and wilt and all of that and all of that. And luckily, there's been a lot of tricks behind it. A lot of tricks. I'm not going to tell you anyone, but yeah.
That's a trick. We won't let you let the cat out of the bag.
So just tell us the process from shooting to development, right on to what we see as a final.
It's all about, okay, so another thing is, it's about lighting. So first of all, I need to understand the lights and then the food. So sometimes I'm just in my house and I see something online. I'm like, okay, I want to recreate this. So I go to the market, I buy all the ingredients I need, and then come back home and I make the food, set up my lights, and try different angles, shoot to my system, edit if need be, and yeah, just.
Okay, that's interesting though. So with all you've said, do you do this alone or you have people who work with you? Because, we need help.
Yeah. Okay, so because I have gotten so used to working alone all from the scratch, I can do a lot of things myself. So in those moments where an idea comes to my head, if I'm alone, I go for it straight up. But if I have like bigger jobs, if I need to shoot something way more tedious, so to say, let me use that word, I have to bring in my interns. I have a number of interns I work with, and yeah, they've been interesting to work with as well.
You don't have, is your staff right now, it's not like you have
I don't right now. I don't have a permanent staff, or I don't have a staff list.
Okay, you don't have a staff list. Okay.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's
cool. Because you don't have a staff list, you must have your own ways of doing stuff, and the only way anybody can do is somebody who's been with you constantly and knowing that this is the way.
Exactly. So luckily for me, out of my interns, I have 2 major interns that understand my style, understand my light setup. So I constantly make sure they are on set. I constantly make sure, okay, these 2 people are on set. Even if I have other people who are learning from me on set, do you understand? I always make sure, okay, these 2 people, because they understand my lighting process, they understand my work process, okay, they're always with me.
Over the last 7 years, or let me say over the last 3 years after you took your break,
yeah,
how many interns have gone through you, have actually moved on to higher stages, and how many do you think you are going to have passed through you as you go on in your career?
How many have I? Because I can't even keep track. I can't keep track, and I'm really grateful for the fact that I go to some places and some people say, "Oh, I was working with Stag before," and I don't even remember. Oh, Stag taught me this. I don't even remember. I'm really grateful for that. So I've worked with a lot of people, and then in the process as well, I still leave myself open to teaching a lot of people, having a lot of people intern with me, because I figured that you can't do it alone. And then this process of learning, sometimes the little things they know are the things you need. Those very small things that you probably ignore, they will bring it to your light and say, okay, why not try it like this? And you'll be surprised.
So do you want to keep up with this model?
Well,
at some point you just realize that Stag, because what is your dream for Stag? You can't go it alone if you want to go big.
Okay, so the two major interns I am already thinking of having them as, should I say, my first set of staff. I'm already thinking of having them on board officially. But like I'll say again, process. So I have to be sure that, okay, are we ready for this? so that we don't start it and then fall off along the line. So I want to make sure that we all understand what we are in for. We all understand what is coming in for us, what is going out, what our deliverables are, our clients, and all of that. So yeah, it's a balance. We're working on the balance right now.
So speaking about balance, how do you balance your life as a photographer and a businessman? One is going out to get the jobs, the other one is accounting for the money.
You just mentioned the part I am mostly scared of. That's managing money. Hey, but I think I'm getting over it now. I should be told, I used to wing it. I'll just wing it. I'll just wing it. I'll just wing it. Oh, this comes in. Okay, let me just do like this. But now I started realizing that you have to actually be accountable. So what I started doing is, first of all, I account for every penny I spend. So on a project, if I say, okay, I'm going to charge you 70K, I understand that, okay, from my house to the location of the shoot, I'll spend 10K from, so you have to be detailed. I have to pay, okay, so person working with me. Yes, so I started writing all of those things down, and it's been really helpful. It's been very, very helpful, and it's been guiding me.
At some point, you need an accountant too.
Yes, definitely. I've had some of them reach out to me. And like I said, because I'm still trying to find the balance, I want to make sure I have started something and I don't fall off. I want to be sure that the accountant understands my work progress, and I know that, okay, it's a long-lasting relationship. Yes.
This question is not a trick question. How do you see yourself? An entrepreneur or a photographer?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear him now?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, buddy.
Oh, but can you? But can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh,
I can't hear.
There's it should be network. Are we back on now? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Because we can hear you loud and clear.
Muted.
Who's muting? I don't know. But you're muted. No.
No.
We're good. So you should be able to hear.
If I turn on.
What's going on? Can you
Afolabi, can you hear?
Say something. Let's see.
Bukola, I can't hear who are they. I think he's muted.
Well, you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear Bukola?
Okay. What is going on? This is the issue with technology sometimes. And this is an interesting conversation. We're getting to that bit to know more about what Star Photography was all about.
Can you hear me?
Is it better now? Oh.
Wow.
Oh, no.
We've lost the audio.
You're with us all via Zoom. And we're talking photography this morning. Business Half Hour. Why do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, so there'll be two questions in one because we have run out of time.
Okay.
First one, how do you see yourself? A photographer or an entrepreneur? And the second one, where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, I see myself as an entrepreneur because photography is not the only thing I can do. So I have to find a balance as a content creator, as a photographer, as an actor. I have to find a balance between all of it and then make them work in my favor. So I see myself as an entrepreneur because I sell all of these talents. And then on to the second question of where do I see myself? That question is always very tricky because left to me, I probably will not be doing photography in a few years because that's not the only thing I can do. Like I said, I probably want to go into acting full time. Not even probably. I want to go into acting full time, and yeah, I want to explore other parts of me. I want to push them out more.
So can't you have like an umbrella that covers it? And at the end of the day, Would you just let this go, or photography is just
No,
this
no, 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 no. He's not going to go. No.
stage in your life?
Thinking of it again. He's not going anywhere. But yeah, I'm definitely going to set up a studio. I may not run it myself, but I'm going to set up a studio, and yeah, I think that way getting the weight off my chest, other people can handle it, and then I can focus on other things. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we go, we usually ask, what is your mantra? What is that word? You know, some people have the particular quote that makes them think. What is yours?
Let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow. Yeah, just flow with it, because I realized that the more we hold on to it, the more we try to capture it. We're just trying too hard. Why not just let it flow, let it grow, let everything be.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you so much, Bukola. Thank you so much, Wadi, for having me. I really appreciate it.
That's a pleasure. All right. So we have to go.
Yes, we do. And it's the business half hour brought to you by Classic 97.3 FM in partnership with Naira Metric. I always go through this every time, Bukola.
Yeah.
Great being on the show. Have a great day.
All right, then. Enjoy the rest of your day.